Let's talk a little bit about development environment automation coupled with remote development environments and the magic that those can bring to teams. This is the Starlight framework. It's a docs framework, it's written with Astro, and I don't know much about it, but I'd like to. I'd like to start developing. So, how could I go do that if I have a development automation remote environment system already ready for me? Well, I know I can just start with the code. So we go and look, and there's a dev container. I know inside this dev container, the project's already defined everything that it needs to run. And all I need is an environment that's capable of running that format. Well, I know I have one. So I can go over to my command line, type Daytona and create, and use Astro. And behind the scenes, whether this is local or remote, I will get that environment pre-built for me. And because of that dev container file, everything that I need for that is already specified in there. So I won't have to do anything else. I will just get an environment up and running with everything I need. And we've got that going. So now, well, what can I do? I could just go to Visual Studio, right? And I can open this. How would I open it? Well, I can use Daytona code and tell it to go ahead and open this for me in my VS Code. And it's going to ask me which one. And I have this workspace that we just started. So I'm going to say that. And it's going to open that for me. And it might take a moment while the dependencies are getting installed. But what's going to happen here is I'm going to connect to that environment. Whether that's local or remote, it doesn't actually matter to me, the developer. I'm just going to get everything I need in my local VS Code. I already know how to use it. I already have all my extensions. I already have all the different pieces and parts that I need. And all I need is the code open in order for me to make changes. And so in a moment or so, we'll have that environment up and ready and attached to my local VS Code. So my local CLI, my local VS Code, and an environment that's automated fully for me. It's a great way to get started with a project. So it's asking, is it Linux? It is. It's going to ask me if I trust the authors. I do. And so now I've got this environment up and running. And I can grab a terminal. The Starlight folks were kind enough to tell me an easy way to get started. And I can say, okay, let's go to we'll copy that command line and run that. And then it's going to go out and build it. And now it's asking me, do I want, there's an application running on 443. Do you want to look at it? So I'm going to say, sure, let's see that preview. And so it's going to open the preview on localhost 4321. And I've got it up and running. And I can watch the logs, I can make changes, I can do anything that I need to do. And here's the port. And if I want to, I could open it on the browser. So I can go back to that and see, yep, I've got that up and running on localhost. But what if I want to collaborate with a coworker and I want to say, like, how, I'm trying to do something and I can't. Or I've got a PM that wants to see this, wants to see what I've got, the changes that I've made. Because this is in a remote environment, we also get the power of collaboration. So I can ask for the Daytona ports. And in this case, this is the URL of this application running in my Daytona cloud. I can make that public so that now anyone that goes to this URL can see it. And then I can just click. And I will get an environment. I will get connected to that environment. And now I can share this in Slack or in a Jira ticket, anywhere, and have other coworkers collaborate with me on this URL. And so in a matter of a couple of minutes, we got up and running with a project I've never run in an environment that I've never built. And also that's trivial at the end of it to just shut down. And in a couple minutes, I could just do it all over again. And that's the power of automation coupled with remote environments.